Shalom, Yasharallah. This is your brother Dawud from GMS Tampa Bay 07, coming at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakal, Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught me the truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you. I can't push this truth and sincerity in the four corners of the earth. Alright? We back at it with these news updates, you know. This wasn't a plan, but hey, it's part of the spirit, you know. You got to move with the spirit. Be in season and out of season, you know. If you know, sometimes the Lord will have you going in certain directions, you know. It's not necessarily a planned thing, you know. Like I said, I had a different type of video plan, but hey, this is what's stirring in the news right now, you know. This whole Russia, America, Syria, Israel conflict, you know. And really what's going on is, you know, for the longest time now, we've been seeing basically, if you understand war and things like that, the intricate parts of war and stuff like that, you know, you understand what proxies are, all right? And so, you know, for those who don't understand what a proxy is, I'll give you kind of like an example. You have, basically, it's just somebody that's going to go fight, not in your name, but, you know, they're going to send somebody else. So, like, let's say America wants to go and fight over in Syria, right? We go over there, and this is why you hear in the news that we're arming the so-called, how do they call it? They say I think they call them moderate rebels or something like that. They have a name for them where they call them, you know, it's the same thing, but in all actuality, they still so-called terrorist groups, you know. These are just the people that they can pay off, you know, or mercenaries. It's like you paying guns for hire, basically. You know, you hiring out your service, you know. You hiring out a hitman. You know, you don't want to go and kill somebody on your own, so you hire a hitman, and the hitman go and kill the person for you, you know. This is pretty much what a proxy is. So what you've been seeing going on over there, you know, because at the end of the day, you have the two major powers at war. You got Russia and America, all right? And up until this date, you hadn't seen Russia versus America head-to-head, you know? And the thing is they've been fighting basically over here in Syria, you know? And, you know, despite what anybody's telling you about World War III is coming, World War III is not coming. World War III is not around the corner. We in the midst of World War III. We've been in the midst of World War III for the longest time now. Basically since, like, Syria pretty much kicked it all off, you know, when all that started popping off. Then you started seeing all these different nations joining together into the fight over in Syria. Just like how you seen over in Iraq. I believe it's like 35 different countries invaded Iraq when we went over in Iraq after September 11th, you know. That's a lot of countries in, you know, one area, just, you know, bombarding the place. But nevertheless, you pretty much had the same thing going on over in Syria, all right? So with the Syrian deal, it's just a quick breakdown of what's going on over there. Like the whole, you know, the gist of it all is, okay, you have, at the end of the day, you have multiple different stories, okay? You have the story of what the American media wants you to know and wants you to believe. Then you have the story of what is really going on, all right? And, well, you have the story of what's going on, like, what the Most High's got going on, because he said he's going to draw them out into that area, you know, to the Valley of Jehoshaphat. And then he's going to plead there with his, he's going to plead there for his people, you know. And basically, you know, Russia's been doing it for a while, you know. There was that one iconic interview with Vladimir Putin maybe a year or two ago where he was like, look, he wasn't even talking to the American president. I believe Obama was still president at this point in time, you know. He was like, you know what, it was such a and you got to be able to read between these lines, because diplomatically, like when you're dealing with this, you have the leaders, they deal with each other, you know, if it gets that bad. Before that, they have these people who, you know, they talk to these people, those people, you know, and you have lesser people who go and speak on your behalf, you know. But nevertheless, you had the Russian president, Vladimir Putin. Instead of, you know, when Barack Obama was trying to push up on him and all the red line in Syria and all that, you know, you had him there pleading with the American people. He's like, yo, to the American people, y'all don't understand what's going on because, you know, your stupidity and your blindness of what's going on, you letting your leaders do this, but this is y'all gonna have to pay the consequences. Y'all the ones gonna be missile food. Your leaders in them, they're gonna be safe. They're gonna fly the fuck up out of here, but y'all the ones gonna have to pay the toll, you know. So, you know, the Russians was pleading with him, you know. So we understand there's multiple stories here. You have the story that they want you to believe in the media. You have the story that's going on with the Most High story, which is in the scripts. Then you also have a story of what's actually going on how you say, a surface level, face value. So the story of what they want you to believe over there is the fact of, you had a protest, okay? It all started with the what they call the Arab Springs, okay? Man, there's a lot of other stories. I'm not gonna really get into all those different things, and if you watch the news, you'll be able to link these stories up with one another, from the Hillary Clinton emails, not the latest email deal, but the one beforehand with the Benghazi attacks. You know, if you understand the Benghazi attacks and all that, they was arming what they call the moderate rebels. Those moderate rebels are the ones that they went into so-called. That was the people who was having the civil war with the regime. Well, not the regime, but the how do you call it? They voted this guy in. You know, this is a legitimate regime that's in power. Okay, these people want this guy in power. The citizens want Bashar al-Assad to be their leader, but nevertheless, America goes over there and destabilizes the whole country. Well, actually, that whole region. You know, with the Arab Springs. This is why you've seen all these uprisings in all these nations over there. All right, where the people protesting. And on the larger scale, they're doing that here in America and then over in Europe. They get order out of chaos. They destroy every damn thing, and then they come in with a solution. You know, again, another one of these war tactics that they got going on. You know, they have what they call order out of chaos. You know, they create chaos, and then they come in with the rules and stuff like that. You know, but nevertheless, you had the civil war going on in Syria, where you know, they alleged that Bashar al-Assad was dropping barrel bombs on his own civilians, on his own people. You know, and again, sometimes you got to use fucking common sense. It's like, yo, man. Back to September 11th. Yeah, we're going to be some goddamn terrorists, and we're going to go blow up these buildings, and we're going to claim responsibility for it. Matter of fact, fuck that. The terrorists all died in the damn airplanes. But then after that, you got a motherfucker named Osama bin Laden going to put up some goddamn tapes, you know. This was before YouTube, not really YouTube, but before, you know, people start uploading videos like that. Some guy going to just all of a sudden take claim for it, you know. And if you actually did any research, I remember, you know, it was the spirit of the Lord back in the days. I was in, like, high school or middle school. I did a book, like a research project on Osama bin Laden. And they was talking about how, you know, good of a person this guy was and how rich his family was, and the Carlyle group, they have a company with the Bush family, you know. These people were made super rich off of construction and stuff, you know. And then, you know, then you had the Mujahideen, which the Americans, okay, Al-Qaeda was the CIA, okay. It was started with 3 different people, all right. One of them was Osama bin Laden, and the other 2 were so-called CIA operatives. And who's not to say that Osama bin Laden ain't a CIA operative, okay? And if you don't understand that, watch the movie Iron Man. I think it's Iron Man 3 with the Mandarin, okay? That breaks it all down. Like I said, there's a story they want you to believe and a story that there really is, you know? They want you to believe it's a terrorist. But nevertheless, why would this guy go over here and bring all this shit on himself, you see? And his whole nation. Not only... Before that, we didn't know that Osama bin Laden did the shit. But then when he came out with the tape, said, yeah, nigga, I did the shit. Now the whole world hates him. The whole world hates all the people that look like him, that speak his language in all their countries. Why would you bring that upon your people? Don't make no sense. Okay? Fast forward to today. Bashar al-Assad. Why would he start killing his own people when everything is going good over in his country? I mean, everything was nice off in Syria right before all of that. You know, they was prospering. You know, same with in Libya. You know? But you can't believe these stories. But nevertheless... Okay, so these people, you know, the story they want you to believe, Bashar al-Assad and his military was raining down on unarmed civilians, and they needed some help. But the American military wasn't going to go over there and put their presence to help them. What they did was they did a bunch of backdoor deals. Okay, Hillary Clinton them got busted. You know, fuck, Eric Holder and Barack Obama got busted running guns out there to El Chapo and them. You know, with that little deal. If you understand that shit too. But nevertheless, Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama and them got caught smuggling guns over in Benghazi. That was what the whole consulate deal was about. Them Arabs understood what the fuck was going on, and they was like, hell no, y'all gotta get this shit, y'all gotta get up out of here. But then they blamed it on a goddamn cartoon or some shit, and they're like, that's why it happened. You know, but that was a trade route through Tripoli, bringing in these goddamn weapons and stuff, you know, from Benghazi through Tripoli, all throughout Libya. You know, this was their little corridor to get these guns in. You know, so they was arming the so-called moderate whatevers, you know, rebels, terrorists, whatever they want to call them. Now, initially, the war was over. Initially, we went over there because the civil war between Bashar al-Assad and the civilians, okay? Now, all of a sudden, we didn't arm the civilians, more or less to say, okay? The so-called Free Syrian Army, that's what they so-called named themselves, the Free Syrian Army. They was trying to break away and overthrow they so-called leader, okay? We started arming these guys, and then all of a sudden, these guys switched sides. supposedly, this is the story they want us to believe, that these moderate rebels switched sides and linked up with Al-Qaeda and became ISIS. Okay, so this is the birth of ISIS. So when you watch these damn videos about ISIS and you see all these goddamn Toyota trucks, how y'all all got a whole bunch of fucking Toyota trucks and y'all terrorists? Like, y'all just be stealing shit to get all y'all shit. And then you don't have guns, because they don't really have guns in them countries like that. You know, it's illegal for them to have guns. So how y'all getting all these guns, this ammo and shit like that, you know, and how do you even know how to fucking, like, there was a point in time when they were stealing tanks. Like, okay, well, let them have the tank, first of all. They ain't gonna get no rounds. Where are they gonna get the rounds from, you know? Oh, now they're getting rounds. You know, I think that they came up saying that they had a couple rounds. I think this might have been in, like, 2013, 2014. They had these tanks, you know? Then there was a point in time where they kept getting busted because America is sloppy with their shit, talking about they had to stole a goddamn jet and painted the bitch black. I'm like, well, how do these stupid-ass niggas know how to fly a jet? You know, you can't just take no regular... Think about this in America. Okay, ISIS is like the equivalent to the Crips and the Bloods. They go around so-called terrorizing people. They a small-ass street gang, all right? Now, if these niggas were supposed to come up on some heavy-ass artillery, who was going to teach regular niggas in the hood how to drive a tank, how to fly a plane, how to sit here and launch mortar rounds off and hit people, you know? But nevertheless, these are these goddamn lies that they telling about these people, all right? So fast forward from that, you know, now, you know, the so-called Free Syrian Army, the people who was arming, then turned out into ISIS, and now there's a big problem. Now you got terrorists in Syria. So now, not only do we want regime change, okay, because at first we didn't want regime change, but because now homeboys killing these people with barrel bombs, we want regime change. But there's a secondary, well, that's now become the secondary objective. The first objective now is ISIS is on the run. Now we got to go and blow up and kill ISIS. And ISIS just so happened to be in Syria, okay? Iraq and Syria. So now we got to go over here and blow up ISIS in Syria, and then we go secondarily worry about Bashar al-Assad, okay? Fast forward all throughout all their little debacles and shit going on, up until today, you know, you talking about Donald Trump talking about bringing down their troops, you know, the troop number amount, okay? And, hold on, let me back up. There was a point in time where, you know, first of all, America wasn't there. They wasn't invited there, okay? America and its allies wasn't invited there. Well, America was so-called not really losing the war the war against ISIS over there, but it was more or less a stalemate, all right? Now, ISIS is, again, it's America. It's America. That's their proxy fucking military, all right? And if you really do your research with all of them, with ISIS and all that, they headquarters in Colorado. When you look up NGOs and shit like that, that's some real deep research. These motherfuckers is in Colorado. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not to say that you have terrorist ISIS groups in Colorado. No. The headquarters is where the CIA runs this shit out of is in Colorado. Okay? These motherfuckers is over there. Alright? And these is all Americans. When you see these, like the head of the goddamn ISIS, I don't know if this nigga's still alive. They was claiming that shit, but you notice you don't see them in the news. That nigga, al-Baghdadi, this nigga is an American citizen. Now, they put all these shits up because around with that guy and his subject was, Barack Obama pushed a thing saying that they could basically bomb, any person, anywhere. They had to basically made the whole planet Earth a war zone, you know? But basically saying that they could bomb anybody, even Americans, on any soil in the world, you know? And, you know, Americans was like, nah, you can't be bombing me and you over here in America with drones. Like, no, it ain't about you. It's about this al-Baghdadi guy who then went over to Syria and became an ISIS leader, you know, but he's actually an American citizen, you know? But, you know, these are all debacles. But nevertheless, when it became a stalemate over there with America and ISIS and America wasn't really making no leeway, Russia was like, well, fuck it. You know, Syria's our homie. We'll go over there and help them out because we don't want the terrorists fucking up their area. And then Bashar al-Assad, you know, falls as the leader, and then there's that big vacuum that you see in the rest of those countries. They destabilize that whole area, okay? Order out of chaos. So, and these are those hooks being put into Russia's jaw because Russia wanted to leave Syria a little while, but they realized as soon as they leave, that's it, you know? America's going to get what they want, and it's just, that's it for them. They don't have no more cards on the table, but just all-out nuclear warfare, you know? Because everything will be dominated. But nevertheless, you know, when Russia went over there, it was holding it down for a while, you know, and they was so-called helping exterminate the terrorists. America got mad because why? You actually killing American assets, okay? America's like, yo, you fucking up our money over here, but we can't flat out tell you that shit, you know? So this is when the Russian president was like, look, man, we reaching dire dire levels of basically saying, like, we get into an irreversible spot, you know. Y'all on a decline, and it's going down real quick, you know. But y'all need to get right, you know. He started pleading with the people, you know. So, you know, fast forward until today, you know. Well, before today, you had Donald Trump telling us, all right, we about won the war on ISIS, we about to pull out over there. Then all of a sudden, you know, when they say peace and safety, then comes sudden destruction, you know. Not saying that that's exactly what this situation is, because I do believe this is going to die down a little bit more, and then it's going to explode, because, again, we need that mark of the beast to be implemented fully before, not really before World War III, but before nuclear missiles fly, you know what I'm saying, because the nuclear missiles is going to be the last of the last, you know. But nevertheless, you know, you're starting to see, right as they start dying down, all of a sudden you have this explosion again, all right? And so now you have the Russians, again, they're not talking, you know, they off the table now. They're like, all right, look, bro, we done with these proxies, you know, y'all done with the ISIS deal, this and that. Now it's basically about to be head-to-head combat, all right? So rewind a little bit with the Israel deal, all right? Now, you have Israel over there. Israel's on some bullshit. We're not going to get too much into their shit, talking about, oh, we getting invaded because some niggas rolling tires over here at us. So they want to go over there and launch an attack over on Syria. And then I believe that the Israeli, what is it, an F-35, one of their little jets got downed over there, all right? And then so now they want them to be like, all right, well, we're going to go and retaliate, you know? So these are all the things leading up to all of this. So now over here in the place of Duma and Ghouta, basically Syria, all right? It's a suburb in Syria, Duma, Ghouta, right? That area was basically liberated from the terrorists, all right? Well, the terrorists were still there, but they were surrounded, all right? Bashar al-Assad had their ass surrounded. The terrorists was about to be over with in a couple of days. But again, that's America's assets. So America was like, fuck nah, if we lose them over there, if you rid the house of all the goddamn roaches, then I can't keep coming over there spraying my raid poison in your house. I need those roaches to stay there to keep me in business, okay? It's just like the government need criminals and drug dealers and niggas to keep being niggas so that they can keep policing your ass and locking your ass up to make money. They're not really concerned about getting rid of crime. This is the same shit going on with America and the terrorists. They need their ass over there so they can keep blowing shit up and destabilize the whole area and fuck up all the infrastructure so they can rebuild it and own everything. All right? This is how they steal countries. Okay? But nevertheless, you see that, what is it? Apparently, this is what's being alleged, that in the area where Bashar al-Assad had all the terrorists surrounded, was about to win, just maybe 2 days away from winning, all right, not even 2 days away from winning, he would go and, now mind you, after the fact that the goddamn Western people in the UN went over there and made sure there was no more with Russia, made sure there was no more chemical weapons or was able to produce no more chemical weapons in that area, all right? So you have to remember all these things, all right? But apparently, Bashar al-Assad, who's about to win, about to get all of these other countries out of his country because the terrorists is almost gone. You know, and the only reason these other countries say they over there besides America is because of the terrorists. All right? So he's like, well, shit, I'm about to have peace and calm over here. Just, you know, kill these niggas in a couple days and we'll be out. But apparently he's so psychopathic, you know, and just retarded that he would just go and drop chemical weapons on his own people and then send his own military to investigate the shit. That don't make no fucking sense. You see what I'm saying? Because you would kill your own military doing this shit. Not only that, you was going to get what Donald Trump and them threatening about. And the whole heat and the power of the Western world raining down on your ass. That don't make no fucking sense. Especially when you're about to win the goddamn war on these terrorists that's fucking up your country. Alright? Which leads us to right after that. Alright? So you had the chemical attack over there. Alright? Then Trump and them want to rush to talking about, you know, where they threats and they bolstering and all these things. Alright? And so, you know, from there, you had these other countries, you know, which I'll get into with these articles, you know, they, you know, you start seeing these other countries start dealing directly with each other. No more ISIS and this and that. They're not fucking with the proxies no more. They head on with these countries. Look, Russia's saying, if y'all go over there and fucks with this shit, we finna blow America up. We ain't fucking with y'all proxies no more. And America's like, well, you know, no matter if the terrorists did it, if Russia did it, if Syria did it, even if America did it, we blaming Russia, Iran, and Syria for this, you know? So they calling out these other countries. They like, fuck the terrorists, motherfucker. We aiming at y'all now. Head out. No more proxies, you know? So we see that this is an advancement going up, all right? So I wanted to give you that pretext before I read these here articles letting you know what's going on and what's in the mix of all these news articles, because we're in some heavy times right now. In the last couple of days, shit is getting real right now, you know. I'm going to go ahead and end this here video. I'll make a part 2, and then we're going to read through these here articles. I just want to give you the little setup of all that, all right?